She appeared like a ghost. I was walking along the river, the water black with dusk, when the flap of a torn tent lifted and a girl stepped out. Thin, pale, her hair tangled like weeds. Her eyes caught me first, wide, startled, then familiar in a way that hollowed me out. "Grandpa?" she whispered. My heart locked. She was 5, my granddaughter, the one I had been told was living comfortably with her mother, the one I had been told was safe. But she stood barefoot on cold ground, wearing a dress too small, too thin, her bones sharp beneath the fabric. "Mom and I live here," she said, pointing back into the shadows of the tent. The words cut deeper than any blade. I didn't move, didn't breathe. I only stared at the tattered canvas where my estranged daughter hid, the daughter who had sworn she would never let me near again. And I knew something had been buried beneath her silence, something she thought I'd never uncover. I had believed her lies for years, believed the stories of new beginnings, stability, a life rebuilt without me. She made sure I carried the guilt alone, as if distance was my punishment, as if silence was my sentence. But the sight of my granddaughter's ribs under skin told another story. The betrayal wasn't just absence, it was deception. She hadn't protected her child, she had hidden her. I felt the old rage stir, slow and deliberate, like coals reigniting. I remembered the last time we spoke, her voice sharp, her accusations rehearsed, the venom she spat to cut me out completely. And I remembered how easily I accepted it. I thought she wanted freedom. I thought she was building a new life. But the river whispered otherwise. The child standing before me whispered otherwise. I saw the outline of my daughter through the tent fabric, crouched low, avoiding my eyes. A shadow living off shadows. The question pressed in cold and heavy. What had she done to end up here? And what had she done to her daughter? I didn't storm in. I didn't shout. That would have been too easy for her. Instead, I stepped back into the role I've always played, silent observer, patient strategist. I left that river without a word. I left her to believe I had seen nothing. But I began digging. I tracked her name through county records, court filings, hospital bills. Each trace revealed pieces she thought erased, unpaid debts, restraining orders, a string of men who vanished after leaving damage behind. Then there were the shelters, places she had stayed briefly, leaving in chaos each time. Staff who remembered the child, sweet, quiet, always hungry. The deeper I looked, the sharper the picture became. My daughter wasn't lost. She was hiding a life of rot, one she had built out of manipulation and lies. And I had let her bury the truth under my guilt. I collected everything, dates, documents, photographs. I told no one, not yet. Inside, my anger tightened into a blade, cold, precise, waiting. The final piece came from blood, a quiet swab sent under another name. The test confirmed what my eyes had already whispered. My granddaughter carried none of the men my daughter had claimed. Her paternity was a lie, spun to erase, to control, to cut me deeper. When I held the results, I didn't rage. I didn't collapse. I felt nothing but clarity. I went back to the river. She sat outside the tent this time, cigarette between her fingers, eyes dull. I placed the envelope on her lap. She opened it, skimmed the words, and for the first time, I watched her face break. Her voice cracked. "You don't understand. I had to." I cut her off with silence. My gaze was enough. She knew I understood everything. I told her nothing of my plans. I didn't explain where her daughter would be tomorrow, or how custody would be stripped from her hands. Instead, I leaned close, voice flat, measured. "She's mine now." The words shattered her. She reached for me, for explanation, for mercy, but I gave her none. I had already spoken with the right people, social workers, lawyers, the kind of allies who listened when evidence replaced excuses. She thought she controlled the narrative, but the story had already been rewritten, line by line, in her absence. And I made sure she saw it, that quiet, merciless shift of power. I walked away from the tent without looking back. The child would not sleep there again. That part of her life was over. As for my daughter, she was left with the only thing she had ever given me: absence. I felt no pity for her unraveling, no sorrow for her collapse. She had buried herself long before I arrived. The river moved beside me, black and endless, carrying away whatever fragments remained. And I knew this with final certainty: she would never touch her daughter again.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.